Welcome back to MacBreak Studio. We're in the studio with Mark, and we're looking at motion. We're going to do some sort of a piston animation. I think I can. So that's what they're all saying right now when they're watching your tutorial. I think I can.
And you can. You really can. Just hang in there and you can. So we're going to create this little animation because it opens the door once you get it to all kinds of interesting things you can do by linking the animation of one thing to another. So it involves a link behavior. Basically, let me show you it first. So I'm going to build this little animated wheel that has a bar attached to it, much like a steam engine would work. Okay? So we're going to build this basically steam engine animation using nothing more than a couple of shapes, a replicator, and a couple behaviors.
Nice.
And I'm going to do it from scratch because I think it's worth showing the whole thing. I'm going to press C for the circle tool, and I'm holding the shift key. I'm going to draw out a circle, press escape.
You got to give it a stroke next and take out the fill.
You know what I'm going. F7, I'm going to give it an outline, take out the fill, make it a little wider. I'm also going to press F1 and press the hooked arrow in the inspector to center it. And then I want a line, so I'm going to go down to my toolbar here and click under the circle. There's a line tool, and I'm going to drag a line down across that guy.
And you can replicate it.
Well, hey, stop it.
Oh, sorry.
Not quite yet. I'm going to make it a little thinner, and let's give it a color.
Nice.
And I'm also going to center it by pressing the hooked arrow in the inspector. Then I'm going to make replicator. You're right. So I'll click the little replicator icon.
I've been watching you do this a long time.
I know. So for the replicator, I'm going to set this replicator in the replicator inspector to a line. But the cool thing is, instead of a line of multiple copies, I'm actually going to set the start and end points to the same, which is 0. So I'm going to zero out the start and end. So I've got 5 of these replicated lines
sitting on top of
each other. So from there, I'm going to...
You fan them out.
I'm going to fan them out. You could do this. I'm using angle end to fan them out.
Nice.
Okay. And then what I'll do...
That's a wagon wheel, by the way.
I'll just move it below the circle, and we've got our wagon wheel, our train wheel, wagon wheel. So we've got a little wheel. And the last part we need is a little piston. So I'm going to hold down spacebar and command. And by the way, I've learned from somebody that even if you have spotlight engaged, if you hold the spacebar first and then press command and drag,
after all this?
Yeah, after all that.
Wow.
Pretty cool. So now I'm going to select the line tool again, and I'll draw a line out. I'm going to hold the shift key down so it's straight right off the screen there. I'll press escape. Let's give it another different color. And of course, you could import Photoshop files to do this, or graphics.
Stuff like bolts and rusty or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just showing how you could build this in motion. But the same process applies for any graphics that you want to bring in. So check this out. The main thing I want to do here is, what do I want to do here? I want to do 2 important things. The first thing is I'm going to create a new group, and I'm going to move the line out of this existing group, and I'm going to take the existing group and call it wheel, because that's my wheel. And I'm going to move that group inside the group with a line in it, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Notice
so you group inside of a group now, a wheel group inside of a main group.
Right. And also I need the wheel to be below so the piston shows on top. Now, a couple important things is the wheel's anchor points in the middle, the overall group, which I'll call the comp.
The anchor point's in the center of a box.
It's in the very center of the wheel again.
Wow.
Now, for the line, this is the key point. I'm going to right-click on the line and choose anchor point and move its anchor point right on the point where that I want to anchor it. I want it to grab onto right there. Okay.
Right.
So with that set up, I am going to rotate this entire comp. I'm going to have a whole thing rotate. Now this might seem a little weird at first. I'm going to go to the properties menu. And of course you could set keyframes to rotate. But
behaviors are better.
Behaviors are better most of the time. So I'm going to right click on the word rotation, and then I'm going to choose add parameter behavior, rate. So I'm going to apply a constant rate of rotation. In fact, I already know I'm going to put in about -5. For some reason, a negative number is a clockwise rotation. If I play that now,
that's a broken piston.
Yeah, the whole thing is rotating around, and that's like crazy. But if you think about it, let me pause, play. Let me go back and see why this makes sense. If I take the piston line and I just drag in rotation, notice it rotates around its anchor point.
Sure.
Okay? So if I have the piston pick up the same rotation as the group, but reverse it, it should it should cancel out that rotation. So I'm going to right click on the rotation, and I'm going to choose add parameter behavior link. So I'm going to link its rotation to the rotation of the wheel. So I'll drag the wheel into the well, so that my rotation of the piston will match the rotation of the wheel. If I do this now, the piston continues to rotate, and it's actually should be rotating twice as much as the wheel. Let's see, why did that not work? Because right now it should be rotating twice as much. I'm going to do that one more time. So the wheel is rotating. That's rotating everything. And then I want the piston to rotate exactly the opposite. I want it to rotate the opposite. So I'll take its properties, rotation, and I'm going to link its rotation to the rotation of, I've got it on the Hall comp, so I've got to put it on the Hall comp. Okay, so now see the piston is rotating twice as fast because it's rotating because the comp's rotating, but it's also linked to that rotation. So now if I set its scale to -1, it's actually rotating in the opposite direction, which cancels it out. Okay, it may take a little bit to wrap your mind around.
It's like.
But
You said this was going to be simple.
It is simple. There, it's done. So the only thing I might do is add a little motion blur to make it look a little better. So under the render pop-up menu, add some motion blur to the wheel. What's so cool about this? I can now take that line and move it anywhere I want, maybe further out to the end, and it will still work. No matter where I move it, it will still work perfectly. Okay, so you can look at this as a starting point for how you might build
That was almost
animations.
as good as your Etch-a-Sketch.
So I got a little confused there, but we can work that out in the end.
You did. You saved it.
Pulled it out.
It was
saved
awesome.
It, yes.
All right, so if you think this is tweaky, it is, which is why you need Mark's motion training, all 17 hours of it, because he'll walk you through everything. You'll be on your way to making amazing animations.
By the way, that 17 hours includes all the different.
Oh yeah. It's not. No, it's not. You don't have to watch 17 hours in order to get started. It's broken down in little bite-sized pieces.
Very bite-sized.
Yeah. So we recommend starting with getting started in motion. That would be a very good tutorial to start with, and of course then go back and binge watch all his tutorials on YouTube. So follow us on Twitter. Visit our site rippletraining.com and on Facebook. And we want to thank you for watching another episode of MacBreak Studio.